Hey guys, Greg Mazza, Homecare Breakthrough Solutions. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how much is not having enough caregivers actually costing you. All right, and it's really something that you want to figure out in your business because it's wise to do so, right? Once you understand the numbers and you understand like what it's actually costing you in your business, then you start thinking about things a little bit differently. So my question, have you ever had shifts go unfilled, right? Or how many of you, which I know is probably gonna be most of you, had to turn down a case because you did not have enough caregivers? I've talked to people that have said, oh man, I could double my business if I had more caregivers. Oh man, I turned down 4 cases the last month, right? Do you understand the implications of that on your business? Do you actually understand what that is? Have you lost a case because you couldn't find a replacement caregiver fast enough? The client wasn't happy with the caregiver and you're like, I'm trying, Mrs. Jones, but I can't find someone. And you didn't find them and the client said, enough is enough, we're out of here. Or you had a client who just wasn't happy with their initial caregiver and they said, we're not gonna do business with you. Has that ever happened to you? Or how many of you, in alignment with this, have said, I've kept caregivers that I knew weren't good, but I kept them because I didn't feel like I had another option. We didn't have enough of a bench, we didn't have enough caregivers. How many of you guys have been in that situation? The problem with that is that you don't truly know the impact, the financial impact on your business with customer dissatisfaction and all those other things that go along with it. So why do I bring this up? Because there's a lot of you, some of you, that really truly, I'd say a lot, it's an accurate statement. There's a lot of you that aren't putting enough energy, effort, and focus on your recruiting, and it's costing you, and it is costing you dearly, right? So let's go back to 2020 Homecare Pulse data. I know we're in 2022, and they're just about to come out, or they might have by the time this post, with their 2021 benchmarking study, but in 2020 Homecare Pulse benchmarking study, the lifetime value of a client is $677. If I'm not mistaken, this past year, it's gone up to close to like $14,000, $15,000. Now, you and I know that that's not all profit, but that's revenue, and profit is gonna be somewhere depending franchise, non-franchise, but the number I generally like to use is somewhere around $2,000. So the lifetime value of a client in terms of net profit is around $2,000 to your business. So every time that phone rings, right, or every time you have to turn down that case and you have to say no, it's costing you $2,000 in profit. Now, I've had clients that said, yeah, I turned down a 24/7 case. Woo! I've had clients that said, yeah, in the last few weeks, I've turned down 3 24/7 cases. I've had 24/7 cases that have brought in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 plus in revenue to my business. That's a lot of money to just be like, oh, no big deal. Oh, I couldn't staff it, no big deal. If I ever had to turn down a 24/7 case, I would have thrown up. And the truth is that it happened once, so that's not true. I didn't actually throw up, but I was sick to my stomach. And it was only because we had already staffed a whole bunch of cases that week. I think we started like 9 or 10 cases, something like that. And I literally was completely staffed out. It wasn't from not trying, it was just, we literally did not have anyone else we could have pulled from, moved around, etc. But I bring this up because you want to understand, what's it costing you, right? What is it actually costing you? Revenue per caregiver employed, according to the 2020 data, is $13,000 plus. So as far as I'm concerned, when you're turning down cases, it's costing you money and profit. And you're like, well, what does that mean, Greg? Now, you and I know the $2,000 profit for a case, that's not all at once, right? That's spread out over the course of a year-ish, 10 months, a year, 14 months, some could be longer, but they're on average, it's about a year, right? So what does this mean? You need to figure out how much it's costing you and do it based on lost clients, the lifetime value of a client, understanding the revenue per caregiver. So every case that you've had to turn down, if it's 5 cases, that's $10,000 in profit to your business. So why do I bring this up? What are you able and willing to do? What resources are you willing to put towards this so this way you can fix this problem in your business? Okay, now I know some of you are like dealing with cash flow, but when you understand the numbers, and this is what I'm challenging you guys to do, go back, figure out what it's costing you not fixing this problem, and then make a decision. Right? What am I going to do to fix this? What are the steps that I'm going to take to fix this? There's lots of solutions. Some cost money, some don't. But what are you willing to do to fix this problem so you don't ever have to get to a point again where you're like, sorry, I can't take this case. I can't do it, because it's costing you, and it's costing you dearly. Gosh, some of you honestly have flushed down 20, and I know you're like, I didn't do it on purpose, Greg. I get it. It's tougher. But you got to stay committed to fixing this until you get the solutions, until you get the results that you need, which is never turning down a case, reducing your overtime, right? Not having unfilled shifts. Of course they can happen, but the truth of the matter is we barely missed the shift. Barely, okay? Because we had good recruiting systems. I actually used to be a recruiter. So fixing this in your business is such a key critical component to becoming more profitable, being able to grow, scale, and getting that balance back in your life, all right? So I'm hoping that you guys can go through this process, figure out what it's costing you, and then let's start working on solutions. You can watch a bunch of our other videos. You can start picking up little pieces and little nuggets of how do we fix this recruiting problem so we don't have to deal with it again. We don't have to be stressed. We don't have to be overwhelmed. We don't have to be flushing money down the toilet. Part of doing this, guys, if you haven't done so already, is download the recruiting guide that's below. You get a free copy. Just put in your information. We'll get you a copy of the recruiting guide. It'll lay out high level, what are the pieces you need to be looking at to close the gaps in your recruiting efforts so you can grow and scale and find and keep more caregivers. All right, that's all I've got. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.